Hello, friends. Welcome back from the weekend and welcome to your Daily Detroit for Monday, June 16th, 2025. I'm Jared Stays, and today's conversation is a quick check-in with one of the U.S. Senators from Michigan, Gary Peters. We hit on a variety of topics from Selfridge to university research dollars to work to protect the Great Lakes and why he's deciding to hang it up as a senator after this term expires, something that is honestly kind of against the grain with Democrats as of late. The conversation was recorded at the Macomb Policy Conference, and thank you to our members on Patreon, patreon.com/dailydetroit, for supporting what we do. Independent media requires independent support to thrive, and when you're a member, you get your choice of swag, our behind-the-scenes, off-the-record, off-the-rails podcast, and access to our Discord community chat, plus our everlasting thanks. All right, let's get into this conversation with Senator Peters. Whatever you think of his positions, his record in the Senate is about getting things done. As far as senators go, he's one of, if not the most proficient at getting policy passed. With being that effective, I started there and why he's deciding to turn the page to a next chapter at the end of this term. So why is it? Because you're still so effective with the policy goals that you want to drive.
Well, I appreciate that. I have been able to do that, pass more legislation than any other senator. In fact, in the last Congress, more than any senator in over 40 years, and that's about bringing coalitions together, being able to work in a bipartisan way and get things done. But as far as my decision, this is something I've been thinking about for a long time. And when I got into Congress, I didn't think I was going to be there forever. I kind of believe in what our founder said: is that you're a citizen, you go serve in Congress for a period of years, then you go back to being a private citizen again. Turn it over to someone else new and young, and I think that's the way the process should work. But if you look at it, between House and Senate, I've served 18 years, so that's a good run. Time to move on to a new chapter.
I will personally note that that's kind of refreshing because we've had a series of people who have, been in office, and there's been a lot of criticism that they've stayed there too long, not allowing for new blood to come through. And this also means, I would assume that, since you're not going at the end, that you'll be able to talk to people and share your knowledge, with people when they call or they're interested in it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to still stay involved in some capacity. I've got a year and a half to go, so
okay.
I'll figure out that, and I'll have an announcement at some point, I suppose, with you. But I'll still stay active. And part of my decision too to leave is as a Democrat, I want to make sure that this seat stays Democratic. And I knew we had a good bench of folks. We're seeing that, a number of people who are running for this seat. I think next year is going to be a good Democratic year as well. So it's a good time for me to pass the torch to a new person with new energy, and to me, that's a healthy Congress. That's exactly the way this place should work.
So let's talk about Selfridge really quick, because that is something where, the general public, they see the planes, they know that there's like a lot of things that go on, but why was it so important to fight hard for Selfridge like you did and kind of get this new, securing the F-15EX program?
Yeah, we were actually be able to procure two new flight platforms, which I'll talk about. But to your question, it's important, one, from an economic perspective. Selfridge is a real engine of job creation, businesses there. It's also a center for our homeland security and national security. It should be a source of pride for Michiganders to know we have this amazing base there that not only houses these great aircraft for the Air National Guard, but has all of the services. For many years, I drilled there when I was part of the United States Navy. The Navy has units there, the Marine Corps, the Army, Homeland Security. I'm ranking member on Homeland Security, and there's substantial assets there, whether it's the Coast Guard, Border Patrol, Customs Border Protection. In fact, I just secured funding, part of that legislation, funding to create a Northern Border Mission Center at Selfridge, which will oversee the entire northern border for the Department of Homeland Security. That's right there in Michigan. But it was really important to replace the aircraft. We had two aging platforms. First were the KC-136s. These are the tanker planes that are essential to move aircraft across long distances. And they were getting very old. In fact, when I did my press event there to announce these new planes, the plane behind me was built in 1958. So that's a legacy aircraft. The pilots are a whole lot younger than that. And I was able to work with a delegation, and we were able to secure the new KC-46, which is a brand new aircraft, the future. That's probably going to be there 50 years now at Selfridge. And then their other recent announcement, the A-10s, older attack aircraft that was also going to be phased out. And now with these F-15s, we've got a platform that's going to be there for decades to come as well. And it happens to work really well with KC-46s, too. That's a real team I could see a long-term future for Selfridge now. It's not going to go anywhere, and it's going to continue to play a critical role in homeland security and our national defense and economic growth and development for decades to come.
Yeah, because there's a lot of businesses and suppliers and things that are located near that because they need to be, right? As
Exactly.
I understand it.
Yeah, there are. Plus, you bring military families in, people there, they have jobs. All of those platforms require mechanics and all of the other support staff. So there are a lot of jobs on the base, and when you have jobs in a community, that's good for the whole community.
Another thing that's very important to Michiganders is the environment. And so, you've been a leader on the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. That is some work that I've been following. What has it been like fighting for the Great Lakes over the last few years? And what are some of the things that you're really accomplish and really looking to do?
Yeah, I think, in some ways, and this is a good thing, it's getting easier to fight for the Great Lakes in Congress because more of my colleagues realize that the Great Lakes is not a regional asset. It's for the whole country, and I would argue for the whole world. And when you consider the 20% of the fresh water in an increasingly thirsty world, to have that resource here is incredible. But you got to keep it clean. We've got to be good stewards of that. And so we've been able to get support for things like the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, which cleans up the lakes, keeps them clean. Other investments to make sure that we're keeping it safe by protecting things like oil pipelines against spillage. We have a Line 5 right here that goes underneath the Straits of Mackinac, which we're very concerned about. We've been able to put a lot more legislation in place to make sure that we keep it safe. And one thing that I did and got passed was a Center of Expertise for the U.S. Coast Guard to clean up oil spills. They've now opened that up in Sault Ste. Marie, which will help make sure that the Great Lakes stay clean for the generations to come. But it is a constant effort. We have to keep fighting for it. But luckily, more members of Congress from around the country realize, yeah, hey, those are pretty special. We better support our senators and members of Congress from the Great Lakes region.
Well, my last question for today is actually from our supporters on Patreon who support Daily Detroit, and they very much are concerned about education funding, specifically research funding.
Right.
Research funding is so important for the University of Michigan, Wayne State University, and the whole state. I mean, obviously, we're Daily Detroit. We're a little focused on, Metro Detroit.
Right.
What can be done to kind of advocate for that and protect some of that? Because there's a lot of concerns that a lot of really great work done by a lot of Michiganders and well-paying jobs, they're scared right now.
Yeah, and I'm very concerned. I share their concerns. We're pushing back against the Trump administration that is executing massive cuts for research programs, which makes no sense whatsoever. When you think about the seed corn for an economy, it's the innovation and the new processes that come out of universities through that research program. That's all now being undercut. To me, it's short-sighted. It's certainly going to have a short-term economic impact in those universities. But even more importantly, it's going to have a significant long-term impact if you don't have that kind of innovation ecosystem. I was at Michigan State University last week at their lab, their IQ lab, doing incredible work. We saw actually little mini hearts that they are growing there from your own tissue, and you could see them just pumping away down in the Petri dish, and that's significant because if you have a heart issue, they can fix it and sometimes bring in other kinds of tissue to fix your heart, but it's better if it's your own tissue, and they're actually growing your own tissue to fix your heart. They even had, which was amazing, locusts that can smell cancer, and which is amazing, and it detects cancer before most screening and tests. It was an amazing thing to see with the brain waves of the locusts. They put some odors past them, and based on their brain waves, there was this is cancer, and they're even able to identify different types of cancer. And that's, who would have thought? It's amazing research, and it's going to save lives. But if you don't do that kind of research, you're not going to be saving lives. You're not going to be making those investments. And if you think about where we are in the world, too, what the envy, one institution that we have that's the envy of the whole world are our research universities. People come from all over the world to study and to work at these research universities. They also bring their dollars in here from an economic standpoint. So this is just short-sighted policy. I'm pushing back as aggressively as I can and getting my colleagues to say, no, these are investments we have to protect.
Well, I know that you need to get running. Senator Gary Peters, it's so good to have you by the table, and I hope we get to chat at least one more time.
I'll look forward to it. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Feedback, as always, dailydetroit@gmail.com or leave a voicemail, 313-789-3211. I'm J.R. Stays, and do me a favor. Don't forget to tell a friend about the show. The best way to get the word out about Daily Detroit is word of mouth. Thanks so much for listening. Remember that you are somebody, and we'll talk tomorrow.